Shadow of the Race by Lazarus, consisting of Daniel James Inisperos as the main programmer, Kiera Andros C. Rosales as the lead programmer, Shane Angela S. Manansala as the main designer, Edrich C. Agustin as the lead designer. Inspired by the history of the Philippines during the 17th century, as well as folklore, Shadow of the Race follows a character throughout their journey to seek the aid of these mythical beings, with the journey itself leading to their growth both in courage and determination to defend their homes.
Now let's get started on the character animations. When the player isn't inputting any actions, the character goes into an idle state. When the player uses the A or D movement commands, the character will start its running animation. When the player inputs the W movement command, the character will jump. When the player inputs the J command, the character will start its attack. When the player uses the J button while mid-air, the character will do its jump attack. When the player presses the K button, the character will do its throw attack. When the player presses the K button while mid-air, the character will do a jump throw. Now, if the player's HP reaches 0, the character will do its death animation. And when dead, the player can use the T command to respawn the character. Now, let's move on to the HUD. The HUD shows useful information for the player during gameplay, such as health, stamina, and ammo. Health is a resource that if dropped to 0, the player will then die. When using attacks, stamina will drop, but it will also regenerate over time. When using throw, ammo will be consumed. If ammo reaches 0, the player can no longer use their throw attacks, but they can pick up their spears to replenish their ammo. Now, there are traps in this game which can lower the player's health. As you can see, we took damage from that trap, which lowered our health. But we can pick up fruits to replenish our health. As you can see, the fruit restored our health. Now, let's move on to our level design. Our level is set in a magical forest of the Diwata, filled with lush greenery and a mystical waterfall. Now, this forest also has its dangerous flora and fauna, like the thorn bush that when approached will cause spikes to scatter around in the air, which if the player fails to evade, they will take damage. There are also snakes that are typically harmless, but if stepped on, it will damage the player and then flee. Now, if the player dies, they can call upon the blessing of the Diwata to send them back to the starting point. Now, there are also fruits that can help the player to survive this dangerous forest. That if picked up, it will restore their HP. Now, the player must use their skills and wit to traverse the forest without facing danger. That is all for our level design.